right, so we're going to talk about some basics on how to hold a drumstick, which might seem super simple, and it kind of is, but it also kind of isn't, because if you do it wrong, it's going to slow you down later in the process, okay? So the main thing you want to remember is not to squeeze the crap out of the stick. A lot of beginners, they just like death grip and they move their whole arm and it's very like, argh! That's the opposite of what you want to do. You want to be relaxed. You want the stick to do the work and your hand to do the work. Not your shoulder, not this so much. It's mostly your hand, okay? It's not a bunch of wrist either. Another issue with beginners is they wrist. No. Take a deep breath, relax, think of England, whatever, okay? First thing we gotta do, find the fulcrum. So the fulcrum, if you remember your simple machines lesson from grade school, is the point where the stick is balanced roughly, okay? Now, obviously on a drumstick, the back end is thicker, right? Because you've got this taper here on the shoulder. So it's gonna be roughly about here. I hope you can see that. About a third of the way back, give or take. And the way you check, you take your thumb and your first finger, and you hold it like that. Now, again, it's not going to be perfectly balanced. It's going to be pretty dang close, though. Finding that pivot point. Okay? So you set your thumb and your first finger, and then these three guys just hang out on the back. Okay? Now, you'll notice in my hand, there's some space here. Okay? If I took this other stick, I could stick it through behind. That's how much space is there. Okay? If you're squeezing it like this, there's no room to breathe. You gotta let the stick breathe, okay? Thumb, first finger, 1, 2, 3, room to breathe. Look, you can see the wall behind the stick. That's what you want, room to breathe. Because when you go to play, your hand's gonna open, okay? And the stick is gonna pivot here. This is your fulcrum. That's your pivot point. Now, a lot of beginners, I tell them that and they go like this. That's not right either. And this isn't right. That just looks funny. And it's tiring and you have no control. Fulcrum, 1, 2, 3. Loosey-goosey, okay? Now I'm going to match that in my other hand. Thumb, index, 1, 2, 3. Okay. Now, I'm going to stand up a bit. When you go to play, you don't want to be turned over like this, okay? You want your palms up a little bit. Like if I was to take a quarter or a paper clip and set it on my hand roughly, I mean, it would fall off once I started playing. But for my ready position, here, I'm going to tilt down with the drum pad here. For my ready position, I'm about like this, okay? Not this, not this, not this, this. Look at all this room behind the sticks. When I start to play, do you see how my hand opens? The pinky, you don't want to stick him out, but he's just going to kind of do his own thing. The pinky is going to kind of just hang out like he's the little brother of your ring finger, okay? You'll often hear me say, put your pinky on the stick, and what I mean by that is don't do this. This is bad because it creates tension up the hand. You want this super relaxed, like I mentioned, okay? So don't stick the pinky out, but don't worry so much about him being pressed onto the stick. Just kind of let him, he's just going to flop around because he's just chilling. Okay? Mine's kind of stubby anyway, so he's not fitting on there. The main two workhorses are these two, okay? The front one, your index, is just kind of hanging out. He's keeping the fulcrum together. These two are your power, and this guy's just the little brother who tags along, okay? So obviously my wrist is moving a little. It has to, otherwise I'd be like really stiff. So the wrist has to move a little, but it's not the power. The power are these two. Okay, if you are right-handed, your left hand is going to feel more challenging. Oh, see how it's opening and pivoting. So doing that at the same time, you won't use that in music much, but it's a good exercise to kind of make sure your hands are doing the same thing. Because again, if you're right hand dominant or if you're left hand dominant, the opposite hand is not going to be as cooperative. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate number 1. Watch where my sticks are while I'm playing. 1, 2, ready, and... Last time, out. Okay, here's number 2, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, and 2, and 3, and 1, and 2, and 3, and out. Here's number 3, ready, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Last time, 3, 4, 5, out. Okay, here's 4A, 1, 2, ready, and... Here's 4B, 1, 2, left hand lead. Last time, and out. Okay, I hope that helps. Thanks, bye.